Today's rapid recap for BTG, Beyond the Gates is finally back, is for Monday, July the 7th, 2025. Now, I'm hoping the reason that I did read, remember how I said that the network was checking out the violent content of where the script was going or the story was going, and I said, you gotta be kidding me. Because right now you can't get more violent than what's happening with Luna on The Bold and the Beautiful with a gun trying to kill Steffi. Can't get more violent than that. Can't get more violent than what Ian Ward, branding a gun, actually shot Victor. See, so no, I'm not buying the whole violence content. That's full of crap. Especially since everybody, what's his name? Randy, I thought his name was Ronnie. Randy was supposed to have taken Kenny out and shot him, killed him, and dumped his body in the water. So he comes back, and Joey said, is the job done? He said, I shot him like you told me to. Not really. Did that answer the question? And he goes, is he dead? He goes, I threw his body in the water. That still doesn't say, is he dead? Right? Because see, where'd you shoot him? Did you shoot him in the leg? Did you shoot him in the arm? Did you shoot him in the hand? Or did you shoot him in the head or the heart? I mean, where'd you shoot him, Randy? But see, here's the deal. Randy is not a killer. Randy might be some minor muscle for Joey, which is like he said, boss, I never done nothing like what you asked. And he goes, yeah, but I've got faith you could do it. See, I didn't like that. There's plenty of killers for hire that Joey could have hired. But you're going to take your man that you know is a little soft and try to have him do it. So anyway, Joey says, are you forgetting something? And he goes, what? He goes, my money? He goes, oh. So he goes, I'm sorry, boss, I left it in the car. And Joey looks at him and he goes, this whole night has me frazzled, is what Randy's saying. And he goes, you know what? Because he goes, and I think we got a problem. I think somebody may have seen me throw his body off the dock into the water. And Joey says, so you mean you messed up? He goes, I mean, I don't know. I don't know for sure if they saw me, but I think, and he goes, boss, you know, I have a family. I have a kid. I mean, I have, he didn't say wife, but mother of my child. And, you know, if something happens, she's, oh my goodness, she could be asking a lot of questions, and that's a problem. So Joey says, not a problem. I want you to get out of town for a while. And he goes, I can't just leave my family. He goes, who said leave your family? He said, go to LA, take them on a nice extended vacation. And he goes, oh, you know what, boss, that could work. He's like, take them to Disneyland, right? And he goes, okay, that could work. And so guess who comes walking in like he owned the joint? Doug. And Joey said, and he sees the gun in Joey's hand. And Doug says, what do we have here? What am I walking in on? And Joey said, didn't you see the sign that says the casino's closed? He goes, yeah, I saw it. But I figured that didn't apply to me, seeing as how. And Joey just looked at him like, seeing as how what? And Randy's looking like, seeing as how, right? And he says, so like I said, what's going on here? And he goes, you look worried, Randy. And he goes, no. He goes, and so Joey says, he ain't worried. He's just getting ready to go on an extended vacation. And Doug looks at him, oh, really? And he goes, yeah, he's taking his family to Disney World. And Joey's like, yes, he is. He's been doing a great job, so I'm rewarding him. As a matter of fact, let me give you some extra money. And Randy says, no, boss, I'm good. You pay me well. I don't need any more money. And I'm thinking, well, I pity the fool. Yes, you do. Right? So Doug says, well, before you go out of town, since you don't know how long you're going to be gone, let me buy you a drink. And Randy says, I don't have time for a drink. I've got to get my family and we need to catch a plane. And he goes, you have time for one drink for an old friend. And he goes, well, okay, I guess I do. And so as they're leaving, Joey says, Randy, don't miss your plane. And he goes, no, oh, I won't, boss. So they go to Uptown, and I guess Doug called Vanessa. She come in, and he's saying, yeah, something's up. I walked in on Randy and Joey's office, and they had just telling all this in the middle of they both standing up in the middle of Uptown. And he goes, and Randy, so she goes, really? Uh, Randy, are you afraid of Joey? And Randy looks at Vanessa. He goes, terrified of him. So we have Martin running around acting like a lunatic. He goes to the club and sees the back of this waiter who was serving Danny. Vanessa was there before she, Doug called her because Danny wants her to look for office space for them, for their company. And he comes over, what do you think you're doing? And pulls this this waiter away from the table, and he turns around. Of course it ain't Kenny. And the guy goes, excuse me? And Danny goes, Martin. And he goes, I'm sorry. I thought you were someone else. I am so sorry. And he goes, come on, let me apologize to you. So he takes the waiter away and he says, no, again, seriously, I'm sorry. I thought you were someone else. And he goes, did he give you horrible service? Would you like me to tell the manager? He goes, no, just nothing like that. By the way, he goes, have you seen it? Is Kenneth working tonight? He goes, oh, he quit. He said that he wasn't ever coming back anymore. He goes, so no, I haven't seen him. So Mark's like, oh, okay. Martin then goes home, and there's Tyrell playing chess with somebody at the table. And he walks in, he goes, I'm home. And he turns around and he glances and he sees Tyrell, and he's getting ready to I guess he put his shirt or his jacket or gonna put his keys down, but it caught his attention. Like, wait, what did I just see? So he turns back around, and Kenny turns his face from the table. Now, mind you, he's supposed to be dead. And he goes, checkmate. And then Martin flashed back to what Kenny told him, no, I'm gonna go after your kids, the twins. How the twins? Yeah. So we're gonna see now. He has a bandage on his face, which makes me believe the gun may have just grazed him, or the gunshot. When Joey takes the money out of the bag, there's a large amount of that money missing. So we either have Randy telling Kenny, look, I'm supposed to kill you, but I'm gonna give you some of this money, which was stupid because Joey would find out, and you better disappear or you will be dead, probably. But we all know somebody like Kenny is not going to disappear. So anyway, we're gonna see. My hunch is Martin hallucinating? That would be, to me, Kenny showing up like this and getting into Martin's house with Tyrell is too out there. I'm thinking Martin's is hallucinating this. Watch it end up being Smitty, because Smitty is wearing kind of, I did a rewind, and even though Smitty's, it's a knit shirt, but it's kind of burgundy-ish brown, but it's got kind of some beige in it. I don't know. We'll see tomorrow if that's really Kenny. We shall see, because Kenny, he don't have everything up there. Kenny doesn't think things through. He really doesn't. So we'll see where that takes us. But now we have Smitty talking to Elon, and Elon agrees to talk to him because Elon's trying to fill out how much Smitty knows and how much he don't know. And Smitty just lets him know, yeah, and I also know that Vernon Dupree spoke up at I forget what they call those hearings where they're investigating cops and some of their actions, internal affairs hearing. And he spoke up on Malone's behalf, and he goes, that's because Malone's a good cop. He says, now, of course, I'm very good friends with Vernon and Anita. So yeah, I did see Vernon was going to testify at the internal affairs hearing. He says, but one thing I do know, Vernon was not subpoenaed. Vernon came forward on his own to give testimony. And yeah, it is testimony that cleared Malone, because Malone is a good cop, once again, right? So of course, Smitty just pretended to buy it, and okay, well, thank you so much for your time, and blah blah blah, right? And he leaves. Now Smitty knows, okay, this is getting deeper. This is getting deeper. And why they haven't brought Smitty more into the fold, I don't know. Because he's going to uncover everything, and all his little sources that are helping him are going to end up knowing a lot of what Smitty knows too. Because Smitty's thinking this only has to do with Malone. It doesn't have anything to do with Martin. Well, he's going to find out Martin is the cause of all of this, right? Of course we have, and it's so boring. And I didn't realize Allison is not that attractive to me. I don't know why I thought she was before. I guess before I saw Madison. And she was trying to say, oh, she's afraid of her husband now. He's getting violent. And when Chelsea said, well, look, my sister's husband's a cop. Let me call Jacob. No, 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 not like that. And now she's saying, we were so good. The sheets were so hot with us in them. And don't you want that again? You said you wanted to be together. And I do. I want it to be just you and me. Now, Madison was listening. And Madison heard Chelsea say, listen, you're right that things were steamy between us, which is why I had my heart in my hand when I approached you. And you let me know, no, your husband was number one for you. He's your person. And I have moved on. And she says, no, I love Madison, and I am happy we're going in the direction we are going in. And so Madison, when she heard that, she smiled, and then her phone was getting ready to ring. She's being called to the hospital. Or why aren't you here yet, right? And actually, it's because of June. I don't know if I'm liking them keep going back to June. So anyway, she says, in love? How could you be in love with her? You haven't been with her that long. This is what Allison is saying. And she goes, and you can't have the feelings with her that fast that, that we had. You don't even know her. Now, what Chelsea should have said is, well, I didn't know you that well enough to know that you absolutely weren't developing deep feelings for me. I guess Craig is her husband's name. And so she goes, well, that's just it. No, the more I thought about it, yeah, the more I have feelings for you, and I want us back. We could have it back, and we could do this, that, and the other. So Chelsea's looking, and she goes, Allison, I don't want to look back. I don't want to go back. She says, I'm looking forward, and I'm happy the direction my life is going in. So she goes, is this payback? And she says, no, it has absolutely nothing to do with payback. And she should have said, and let's be real, Allison, you were the one that put the brakes on us. She never did flat out say, you ended us for your husband. And okay, because she goes, you know what? I accepted you wanted Craig. I accepted it. And now I'm moving on. She goes, but I'm here now and I want us to try again. She goes, no. She goes, what I suggest you do, Allison, is try to work things out with your husband. He's your one. Try to work things out. She goes, you know what? There is nothing more that I can say. I'm happy she stood her ground. She said, because no, there is no us, there is no try again that, she goes, well, look, can't we just be friends? Now, come on now. Can't we just be friends? Can't we, go out and have drinks and, spend some time together? And Chelsea told her, no, you know what? That would not be appropriate. And I'm happy she told her that instead of, oh, you know what? Yeah, we could be for no. She goes, that wouldn't be appropriate. Mm-mm. She goes, especially since you told me your intentions, Allison. Your intentions are to get me back. So no, I could not hang out with you. Good. She goes, and for you to suggest that, because she goes, well, you know what? I wouldn't mind you and I spending time together and you keeping your little Madison on the side. And she says, absolutely not. She says, after what my father did to my mother, you would think I would want to do that to Madison? She goes, I can't believe you even suggested it. She goes, no, no, you know what? I was wrong. I should not have. No, you're right. You're right. So anyway, Allison is up to no good. She is, and we ain't seen the last of her at all. So let me quickly talk about Danny is now wondering what's Vernon hiding where Martin is concerned, and she gonna try to make it her job to find out. June is back in the hospital. Looks like somebody beat her up. Now, this time Naomi took the picture, Naomi, and she was the picture June had in her hand. And she was going to take a picture of it on her cell phone. And she goes, looks like there's a number down here. So she called the number and she goes, hi, I'm a friend of June's. And the person on the phone, click, hung up. Like she goes, they hung up on me. She was talking to Jacob. So she's gonna call again. But my whole thing, and I think she's gonna end up doing this. She's gonna ask Jacob, do you guys work with photo restoration artists? Or she's just gonna look them up because there are photo restoration places, people, companies that do that. She's gonna try to have that photo restored because it is so damaged you can't even. Before, when they first showed June with the photo, you could clearly see there's two little girls. Now the thing is so scratched out and so messed up, you can't even see who's in that picture. So anyway, everybody, that is it. That's it. Let's go to comment corner, comment corner. Now, mind you, this comment corner is well over a week old, and I'm only going to read about 4 minutes of it. Leah says, Martin was annoying me this episode. He needs to control everything, everything, and he's going to mess up Vernon's plan. And then Heather says, it's his life. They're controlling. He deserves to say. And then Ronald said, Kat and Martin both seem privileged and impetuous. They don't want to listen when anyone tells them to slow down or back off. I bet that Nicole analyzed them instead of disciplining them. And then Karen says CBS is playing, prior episodes next week, which they did. Carolyn says Allison is the jealous one. Yes, she is. And then Carolyn says, I have not seen Nicole interact with Kat and probably don't have a clue about Tomas. Well, remember, Kat brought him to her birthday party, so they do know about Tomas. I say Nicole should give some of her advice to Kat. You always see Leslie and Eva, whether it's for good or not. I know, but you don't see Nicole and Kat. You saw Kat when she was consoling Nicole, but on the day to day, Kat was always having lunch with her father. And then Roy says Nicole and Ted were so into each other that they have neglected their children, Martin and Kat. Martin and Kat have a kind of hyper behavior. They are impatient. It comes from, in my opinion, their parents, Nicole and Ted's obsession with their careers, which is interesting. And you gave some great comments, Roy. Everybody go and read Roy's comment. I'm going to skip down because I've only got a few more minutes. Uh, Cece says, I completely agree with you on all of this. Stephanie says, well said. And then Lauren says, Dana's manipulating Eva yet again. I think so too. She's going to try to get information from her. Martin is annoying and a loose cannon. He's going to ruin everything. Bill. That scene was good. He can fix me, LOL. That's funny. I don't see anything wrong with what Andre did. He wanted to go public for quite a while. Danny kept breadcrumbing him for him with a potential relationship. I wouldn't wait around for her either. She needs to make up her mind, and it's not fair for him to just sit around waiting like a lapdog while she fawns over Bill in his face. And you know what I have to say about that? Yes, to an extent, I agree with you, Lauren, to an extent. Danny let him know, I'm afraid of being hurt. And Danny asked him point blank, is there another woman you're interested in? Let me know. I can't be blindsided. And Andre out and out lied. As he's telling her, no, there's no one, he was thinking of, what's that chick's name? Can't stand her. Is it Natalie? Whatever her name is. I think it's Natalie. See, I haven't seen her enough to know. Ashley. He was thinking of Ashley as he told Danny no. That's where I have a problem. Yes, he's a free agent. Him and Danny don't have a committed relationship, but before he accepted that date with Ashley, and before he goes, he owed it to Danny to say, hey, listen, I understand what you need. You need to take it slow. Okay. But I'm going to go out with Ashley. He should have definitely told Danny that. To tell her no, nobody, and you know there is somebody. And the minute that somebody asks you out, you say, yeah. He would have still done that had Danny started going public with him. Andre's always been, like you said, a playboy. So Just K says, Leslie met Dana. I can see Leslie and Dana talking to each other. Trisha Mann Grant, the actress, can play it off. You mean her having a little split personality? Well, she kind of does when she's talking to herself in that mirror. I thought Eva and LSD scene was interesting. Is LSD manipulating Eva again for her own agenda? Yes, she is. Who was LSD before she created the vendetta against the Duprees? Why does she dislike Alan, her late husband? I agree, Daily Recap Lady. I like Eva more than Kat. Kat is too bratty for me. She's too bratty for me too. All right, we have Pearl. Pearly says, I feel bad for Danny. She's getting rejections on top of rejection. At least Andre could have declined the date with Ashley until he told Danny he wanted to break things off. Even if they weren't exclusive, he had been pushing for them to go public. He gave her the impression that he wanted the relationship, a relationship. He gets with Ashley as soon as she breaks up with Derek. he saw Ashley crying and professing how she loved Derek 3 days ago at most, being a thirsty man. He already is head over heels for this chick who's fake as a $3 bill. She did all that crying and snotting just to be in Andre's presence. She knew he wanted her because he stayed around the hospital giving her puppy eyes. Yep. A blind man could see his desire. That is so true. Jess K says, looking forward to Danny going off on Andre. He wanted their relationship to go public, and she hesitated for good reason. Her instincts were right. Andre likes someone else, boring, manipulating Ashley. I hope Danny slaps him. He deserves it. And the last comment is from Black Purple Turquoise, where you say, thanks for the incredible review as always, Miss Daily Recap Lady. I think Martin was involved in a horrible car accident of some kind, and Kenneth, the waiter, at the country club's brother was involved. He killed him accidentally, but of course, he's been trying to avenge him ever since. He needs to be handled and big time. His mouth and the way he talks so racist is just very hard to listen to. And I hope he's put in his place soon, one way or another. Okay, Martin was trying to change that flat tire on that dark country road. Kenny and his brother had been drinking, and they drove up and saw he had congressman plates. And even if he didn't, they would have tried to beat and attack a black man. They would have on that road. What they didn't count on is Martin used that tire iron in his hand. That's what they didn't count on. Uh, and then Black Purple Turquoise says, on a different note, the nerve of Allison to come in between Chelsea and Madison on their date night. I know. I agree with everyone. I agree with everyone who pointed this out. They are cute together and look happy, Allison and Chelsea. But they're moving way too fast in this relationship of theirs, and they need to hit the slow down button and just let the relationship develop as it does. Only time will tell if they're still together or not. We shall see. Excellent comments on Comment Corner. I will be back with another daily recap of BTG, Beyond the Gates.